Let's take another look at evaluating numerical expressions. First, we want to remind you how to use exponents. Evaluating means just find the value, find your answer. So when I'm looking at number 1, 2 to the 4th power, it does not mean 2 times 4. That is incorrect. It means 2 being multiplied by itself 4 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Either you can do that in your head, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, or plug that into your calculator. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 16. So, trying again over here. 2 to the 3rd power does not mean 2 times 3. It means 2 multiplied by itself 3 times. Even when people write it out this way, they'll just in their head do 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. It's not plus, it's times. You're doing 2 times 2, which is 4, 4 times 2, which is 8. And again, you can plug it into the calculator. 6 to the 2nd power is not 6 times 2. It is 6 multiplied by itself once, twice. 6 times 6 is 36. Number 4, 5 to the 2nd power, again, is not 5 times 2, it's 5 times 5, which is 25. And then tens, we're going to look at it 2 ways. Still can look at it. 10 to the 5th power is not 10 times 5. It's 10 multiplied by itself 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I plug that into my calculator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, I get 100,000 as my answer. The other thing to note is, since we multiplied by 5 times, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So that's a shortcut. 10 to the 4th power, same thing. That means 10 multiplied by itself 4 times, which if I plug that into my calculator, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's it, 4 times, I get 10,000. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros because it was to the 4th power. Now let's get into actually looking at evaluating these numerical expressions. We've got this little cheat sheet over here, PEMDAS, to help you through. So I'm just going to go through and see if we have. Do we have parentheses? No. Do we have exponents? No. Do we have multiplication or division? Yes. Remember, we go left to right. You don't always start with multiplying first. We are actually starting with division first. So I'm going to highlight 10 divided by 2. And I'm going to divide. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then I'm bringing everything else down. Bringing down the times, bringing down the 6. Now all that I have left is multiplication. So I'm going to highlight 5 times 6 and multiply it. 5 times 6 is 30. All right, number 8. Again, we're going to go through the same process. There's no parentheses. There's no exponents. There is multiplication and division. We go left to right. Since division is furthest to the left, that is what I'm doing first. 28 divided by 4, which is 7. Bring down everything else. Bring down the times. Bring down the 5. Now all that's left is multiplication. So we are going to multiply 7 times 5, and you can use a calculator, is 35. All right, number 9. Going through the same process. I don't see any parentheses. I don't see any exponents. I don't see any multiplication or division, so we're going all the way to the bottom here. Addition or subtraction. It's not always adding first, it's whatever is furthest to the left, which in this case is subtraction. So I'm going to highlight first that I'm doing 45 minus 18. If you need to use a calculator for that, do it. 45 minus 18 is 27. Bring down everything else. So bring down the plus, bring down the 24. Now all that's left is addition, so I'm going to add 27 plus 24, which is 51. Let's try it over here. There's no parentheses, there's no exponents, there's no multiplication or division, there's just addition and subtraction. We don't start with addition if it's not furthest to the left, and in this case, it's subtraction that is furthest to the left. So we're gonna start there. 80 minus 32 is 48. Bring down everything else, so the plus 17. Now all that's left is addition. So I'm going to add 48 plus 17, which is 65. Okay, this one, looking for parentheses. I don't see any. This time I do see exponents though. So the first thing that I am going to start with is my exponents. Remembering 3 to the second power means 3 times 3, not 3 times 2. 3 times 3 is 9. Then I'm bringing everything else down. My 10 and the multiplication sign, which is on the left. My minus 4, which is on the right. Now I'm looking to see, do we have multiplication or division? Yes, we have multiplication. So that's what we're starting with next. 10 times 9 is 90. Bring down the minus, bring down the 4. Now we don't have any more division or multiplication. We don't have addition, but we do have subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 90 minus 4, which is 86. All right, number 12. I don't see any parentheses. I do see exponents. So we are starting with the exponents. 2 to the third power does not mean 2 times 3. It means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Bring down everything else. The 7 and the times on the left, the minus 10 on the right. I'm looking next to see, do I have any multiplication or division? I have multiplication. So I am going to next multiply 7 and 8, which is 56. Bring everything else down, the minus and the 10. There's no more multiplication or division. Next thing I see is subtraction. So I am going to subtract 56 minus 10, which is 46. All right, last problems. I do see parentheses here. So I am starting with parentheses, which is 100 minus 4 in the parentheses. That's what we're going to start with. 100 minus 4 is 96, so I'm going to bring that down, bring everything else down. So bring down my division sign, my 2, my plus, and my 2 to the third power. Now I'm looking at what's next. I don't have any more parentheses. I do see exponents. So I'm doing exponents next. 2 to the third power is 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8. Bring everything else down. Bring down my 96, bring down my division, bring down my 2, bring down my plus. Now I'm looking, do I have any multiplication or division? I have division. So we are going to do that next. 96 divided by 2 is 48. And again, you guys can use a calculator as you're working through this. Bring down the plus, bring down the 8. Now all that is left is addition. So I'm going to add 48 plus 8, which is 56. And then number 14, we've got parentheses, so I'm starting with that. 75 minus 3 is 72. Bring everything else down, bring down my division, bring down my 4, bring down my plus, bring down my 3 squared. Next I'm looking, there's no more parentheses, but I do see exponents, so the next thing I'm doing is my exponents. 3 to the second power is 3 times 3, which is 9. Bring everything else down. The 72, the division, the 4, the plus. I don't see parentheses or exponents. Next thing I see is division. So I'm going to divide 72 by 4, which is 18. Bring down my plus, bring down my 9. Now all that's left is addition. So I'm going to add 18 plus 9, which is 27.